Welcome, viewing several once again to my series I like to call Hands Up Who Loves a Train Set, me. This is episode 42. Now, we are going to go back in time, to 1960. Back in the days when boys wore shirts, ties and jumpers, Dad smoked a pipe, and I don't know if anyone realistically had this sort of layout. I think you'd have to be quite lucky and well off if you did. But nevertheless, these train sets as they come, I think it does fit on my desk. It's quite a nice train set. It's the RS1 from Triang Railways. First appeared in the 1960 catalogue. Now this one, I like buying them when they're a little bit on the worn out side and they perhaps need a little bit of work. I'm not bothered. I'm not really into collecting mint condition ones. I'll buy what I think I like, and I quite enjoy working on them and getting them working when they're a bit when they need a bit of servicing and so on. So this one is going to need some work, but we'll have a look. So as I say, 1960 the RS1 was issued. But when we look inside, you'll see that there's probably some anachronisms there, and I don't know whether it's to do with using up stock or whether it's just because over the years bits have become lost and bits have been put back together into different, non-original parts have been put in the set. So so you can see we've got this early pasted on picture of the dad and his, I assume they're both his sons, but they might not be. They've got very similar hairstyles, and it's all looking very nice. So we'll have a look inside, but before we do, I'll just show you. So this one, the box is a little bit, it's been taped up, but I don't mind that. I mean, I might have a go at that. I mean, I've seen people repair boxes for things like vintage. I think I watched a chap, a really good channel, where he repairs vintage toys, and he had like a Star Wars thing, and he ironed the box and he glued it all back together and touched it up, and it looked like brand new. I mean, it was fantastic. I don't know if I've got the skill to do that on this box, but I might have a go at it, to make it a little bit better. Take the tape off carefully and maybe, glue it, but we'll see. For today, we're just going to have a look inside. We're going to do some work on it to get it running, and we're going to run it, and as we normally do. So let's have a look inside, shall we? Right, inside. You never quite know what you're going to get with these kind of sets, because sometimes you find all sorts of little extras inside the box that people have had, that weren't in the original set, and you get bits missing, bits replaced, and so on. So I think we've got a case of that here, and we're going to do something about that. So the first thing to notice, the ubiquitous little bottle of oil is not present, but I wouldn't use that anyway, because by now it's like 65 years old potentially, so I wouldn't probably use it. So we've got Series 3 track, and it looks in reasonable condition. I haven't done anything to it yet. I quite like this track because although it's not, it's quite coarse in scale, it's actually very good. With these older, thick flanged trains, it actually runs really, really well. So it looks like we've got a nice loop of that. I think it's probably the first radius. So if it is, I'll get it set up on here. If not, I have got a first radius loop. But I'm pretty sure that that's what they used to give you with this, but looking at it, it may not be. I'm not wearing my glasses at the moment, so I can't actually see what the code is on that, but I don't know offhand what first radius our reference is anyway, but we'll find out. That's part of the fun. Now, you get to these two coaches, you get this one and you get a brake coach. Let's have a look at these, shall we? I mean, these are very crude, and I think when you compare these to the later Hornby coaches, they do seem to be a bit smaller, but I don't mind that because, you know, I'm going to be running it on this desk, so smaller is good for me. There doesn't appear to be any interior, and the wheels are plastic. Now what I probably will do is I probably will give those wheels a clean before I run it, because they look absolutely filthy, which, you know, they probably is not surprising. Okay, so moving on to the Loco, there's a couple of things to notice here. Thing number one is that there's a pony truck, has a missing axle and wheel. So there's that. Now, I've actually got this, I've got this spare one, so I'm just going to replace it. The second thing to notice is that it's got the pre-1959 coupling on it, which is wouldn't likely be in this set, because this was issued after they went to the tension lock couplings. The other giveaway is, you can see that it says it's a Princess Elizabeth, which is an earlier locomotive. They did bring the Princess Elizabeth back in a kind of a red livery, but this early one is an earlier example, and this is you know, pre-1960, and by the time you get to this set, I think this should be a Princess Victoria. Now, I thought, well, I could get a Princess Victoria to replace it, but where would be the fun in that when I can repair this one? So there we go. So the tender has also got the older coupling on it, the older style. You can see that, that's the older pre-1959 tri coupling, Mark 1 or whatever they called it. So that's also, the tender does go with that Loco. So I think probably what's happened here is at some point the locomotive has been either broken or lost and replaced with another used one. But I may be wrong. It could be equally possible that this is an early set and they were using up older stock, but it seems unlikely to me that they would put an older Loco with those older couplings with the coaches that have the newer couplings. So my suspicion is that it's probably, this is a different locomotive to the original one. And like I say, I could have bought, I've seen serviced Princess Victorias for, you know, £15 or less, and I thought about buying one, but then I thought, really, there's no point, because then I'll have an extra one of these left over, and I probably won't have any incentive to get it serviced and running. So what we'll do is we're going to replace that with a one. This has actually got the tension lock coupling. Now I think that one probably be all right. It'll probably work with these couplings, so I'm going to leave that. But we'll get this open, we'll have a look at it, and we'll see if we can get it running. We'll give things a clean, and then we'll get it running and see what it's like, shall we? Right. Right, it's still rough, but it is running. So initially, the commutator was absolutely filthy. I think I'm going to remagnetise it. It's very dirty. There's probably more places it could be oiled. But it is running now. Let's see how slow it will go down to once it's warmed up. Yeah, it's not great. I would like to do a lot better than that. So I've been a bit naughty and soldered that on, because those clips are just an absolute nightmare to get on, and it just kept coming off. And to be honest, with a locomotive like this, if I want to change the brushes, I'll just unsolder it. It's just not even an issue. So I'm going to try cleaning the wheels, and before we do that though, I'm going to apply the power directly, so you can see it's only starting up about, it's about 70 on here. So I'm going to apply it, let's apply it directly to the motor and see if it's any different, because I think the pickup is filthy. So let's have a look. Doesn't appear to be very much better, does it? So the motor on its own ran, it's yeah, appears to be that's the issue. So I'm just going to have to keep going with the loops and see what I can do. But yeah, it's coming on. I've had to get order some spare pony front pony wheels because they're missing. So all in all, it's a bit of a mess. The body needs a good old clean up. So for this particular set, I think I will give it I'll give this a clean up, and we'll see what we can do with it. All the track needs cleaning. I think the coaches are fine. We might do some repairs on the box as well, we'll see. But yeah, I didn't pay much for it, so I'm quite happy with it, and I actually enjoy this part of it, getting these things running. What I like about these old Locos is the modern Locos are nice and well made, but you don't really do anything on them. These things are like a miniature engineered piece of electromechanical machinery, and they require maintenance and fiddling about with, and there's something appealing to the engineer in all of us about that, so I quite like these. Anyway, this is just to show it the first attempt of the Princess Elizabeth running, so we'll give it some more attention and see where we go. Right, we're just going to show a little bit of the early attempt at getting this running. Now, it is running. We had some issues, but it's extremely filthy. Right, so the next thing is to just repair this front pony truck. Now, there's two ways I could do this. In one method, I was thinking I might just take the axle from one of these. Originally I tried to get an axle and wheels, but it was easier just to get one of these. Now, I think the thing is, for now, I'm just going to replace the whole thing and not worry about the coupling, you know, being different on the front to the back. So what we'll do is we'll just flip this, change this, and I will try the speed. I'll speed it up as well, so it's not too boring. I'm going to have to find some glasses though, aren't I? Here we go. Right, so we're just, it's just, the thing about these old ones is a flathead screw, brass screw. Quite often these will snap. I've had them snap, and yeah. And flathead screws. I remember when flathead screws, when I was a kid, all my toys had flathead screws on. And one day they went to cross, you know, Phillips type ones. And I remember being annoyed because I didn't have another screwdriver. But I can actually see why they did it, because these are once you get used to the Phillips, these are actually quite infuriating to use because of the slot. You know, it's just a pain, isn't it? So anyway, this is a quick job. I probably don't need to speed that up. So there we go. That's the new pony truck fitted. So yeah, we'll get the track set up and we'll see what it runs like. Right, so there's a number of different ways you can clean this track. Now, when I've got this track, this doesn't look too bad. What I'm going to do tonight, because it's Sunday night, I am just going to take a look at it and give it just a quick clean. You can do a more thorough clean with the track rubber, and you can also, the other thing you can do, I've got a lot of this track, and when it's really rusty, you can just get the knife in, you can just lift that out of there and slide that rail out. And that gives you the chance to clean underneath it as well. And particularly if you want to what I like to do often is solder wires to the underneath. So give it a clean first. Now I'm just going to use this IPA stuff, and we'll just give it a quick rub and see what it comes up like, because I think it may need something a bit more later on, because and I don't really need to clean the underside of the rail, so that's what I would do for a really deep clean. I would take this off, and it's steel track and it's old, so I don't mind giving it a bit of a go with the Dremel with a kind of very light brush. You can see that's quite dirty. Yeah, look at the muck on there. So I think what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show all this, but what I probably will do is I'll give it a go like this, and if it's no good, I'll need to give it a better clean. It's difficult to know whether that's going to be enough, but the great thing is this track, you just, once you've cleaned the rails, you can slide it back in, and on particularly, and you just lift that up, and then there's a little clip that just clips in, and that's that. So I mean, the other thing I like about this track is it's got these little lugs, so when you push the track together, it those two lugs, I can line it up, they kind of, a lot of the time they're broken, so that one's broken, but they hold the track. Let's try it this way. So those two lugs there, they will hold the track together, so you've got to actually pull it apart, which is way better than in my last episode we looked at System 6 track, which was the first kind of more realistic scale track that Hornby Hobbies or Hornby Railways brought in the early 70s. And my experience with it as a kid, and also the other day when I tried it, was that the fish plates are tiny and it doesn't clip together very well, and it's prone to coming apart when the train's running on it, so you probably need to nail it down. Whereas this track has provided these little lug, that one's, you can see that one's broken, but when they're not broken, this stuff clips together really well, so I really quite like this track. So I'm not going to film all this, and what I'll do is I'll give it a very quick clean, and then we'll try and run it. I've probably got a loop of this already cleaned up, so I'm wondering whether I might just get that and set that up, because you know, it might be quicker. But actually this is filming, so we can cut all that bit out, so I might just do this anyway, because I quite enjoy cleaning this up. So we'll come back when it's had a quick clean, and then we'll see how it runs. Right, so we're on the track, and I've got a glass of some kind of French craft beer. It's only a small can, but you know, after all that track cleaning, so the track's not as clean as it could be, but I'm just going to run it now on this track. So we'll start her off. Let her get warmed up. So don't forget, I did do a remag on this. This engine could be as old as 1952, so it's probably 70 years old, which is, you know, she's an old lady, and I think she would run better on cleaner track. However, I have got some Super 4 that's quite clean, but the whole thing's quite dirty, and I don't want to dirty that track up. And I thought for the purposes of this video, it's best just to show it running on the track that came in the set. There are some issues with conductivity here that can be improved. So my plan is to take all the rails off, give everything a clean, the sleepers in soapy water, the rails a proper buffing up, and then I'm going to solder on, these clips are a bit rubbish, so I'm going to solder on some wire, and The fish plates are hard to clean with the track rubber, but if you get the Dremel wire brush, you can get right into the fish plates and give them a good clean. So it all takes time. So that will happen, just not tonight. So I'm just gonna, we'll see if it'll run slow. I mean, I think it will. We'll go there. Now this motor's running okay. Most of the issues are to do with this filthy track, this terrible clip. It's just, it will run a lot better. In fact, this clip is pretty poor. I think if I were to take this out of the clip and we were to put it on here, we might see it go better. Well, maybe not, but anyway. So you get the idea. That's kind of enough now to show this set, and it's a work in progress. So I'm going to need to do some more work on it. The Loco's in very poor condition. I mean, the body work and everything. But in many cases, I don't. I might not clean it up because I kind of like the patina, and some of these sets I think are fun to have in the collection, as they, with all the wear and tear and the grime and filth, and it's not like you need to weather them or anything like that, so because they've got their own weathering, and it's kind of like having a heritage railway but in miniature, with all the filth of 70 years or 65 years or whatever it is. So yeah, as I say, it will run better. This track really does need a deep clean, and if I apply power directly to the motor, it runs pretty well. So it's mostly just pick-up and resistance in the track, and that can all be dealt with. So we'll finish. I hope you enjoyed this one.